bit early, so we thought we'd keep going. We've literally just turned on to the Aylesbury arm, and there is a 2-lock staircase. And I brought the boat into the top lock while Chris dealt with the bottom lock. And I'm looking at the lock gates thinking there's no paddle gear. Where on earth is the paddles? How do we lower the lock? Well, it's actually there. And that's it, just the one paddle on the side of the lock. Well, it's only a short run from Marsworth Junction down to Aylesbury, which we did over 2 days. But as you'll see, it turned out to be quite an exciting adventure.
Max, you're not going across.
So I'll open the paddles, Chris, but then you'll have to do the back ones.
And the boat isn't even started yet.
That doesn't matter. It's not going anywhere, is it? It's in a lock.
Oh.
However, before we could go any further than the bottom lock, we had to let some water down because the levels were really low in the pound below.
So just frightened I'm going to get caught between the boat and the come down the side of the boat. Now we've got a bit of a problem this morning in as much as this poor duck is in the lock. She's refusing to climb out, and we've had to empty the lock obviously to get going, but at least she's safe on the sill. So fingers crossed she'll be okay. She doesn't seem to want to fly up either, so Whether she's unable to fly, I don't know, but I'm getting a little bit worried about her.
I think she'll have been in there a long while.
I know she has, yeah. Well, a bit of good news, folks. When we opened the front gates, I managed to shoo Mrs. Duck down to the bottom gates, and she's managed to swim out, and she's now in the canal somewhere.
Yeah, I don't quite know where.
We don't quite know where. We think what happened is she swam into the, or landed in the lock when it was full last night, and the lock leaks quite badly, and I reckon the level dropped while she was in it, and then she couldn't get out. So I think she probably spent the night in the lock, bless her.
She's absolutely
And
exhausted.
she looked absolutely exhausted, so hopefully she's found somewhere to hole up now and rest up and get her strength back. But at least she's safe, so that's good news. Today we're heading down the Aylesbury arm, hoping to get to Aylesbury because we've got an alternator failure. Another one.
Different one this time.
Yeah, it's our travel pack that powers the 240 volt for the washing machine, etc. It sounds like a bearing's failed. I've been in touch with RCR and they're sending me a quote. I've just got to reply to that and then they'll send someone down to replace it. So looks like we're going to be hanging around for a few days now. So we'll see how we get on with that. Well, we had met a boater at the top before the junction arm, and he said it's well worth doing the Aylesbury arm. It's really nice. And I've got to agree with him. It really is nice at the moment.
It's nice and pretty.
It's nice and pretty, stunning views. The canal, like all arms, is a little bit overgrown in places and it is very shallow in places. But nonetheless, it is absolutely gorgeous down here. So if you're ever down this way, make time to do the Aylesbury arm. A few problems with locks, admittedly, but with levels, but it's well worth the effort. After saving Mrs. Duck in the lock, we continued our cruise down the lovely arm towards Aylesbury. But as we approached Red House Lock, we were informed of a problem below the gates. We'd just passed two swans and they were feeding above the lock, but a gentleman and his partner informed us that there were three young cygnets below the lock and they were trying to reach their parents. Sure enough, as soon as we opened the bottom gates when the lock had emptied, the three cygnets made a beeline to come into the lock, which they did. And then the problems really started. At one point, as they were coming down the side of AmyJo, I thought they were going to get crushed. We've now got a problem because Mum and Dad walked around the towpath and these three ended up in the lock with AmyJo. I've managed to get out with them behind me, but we're now filling the lock for them so that they too can get out. Just had to leave AmyJo parked at the bottom gates for now. Finally, with a bit of encouragement from Smudge there, we've managed to reunite the cygnets with Mum and Dad.
You are a
Like most arms on the canal network, this one is no different in as much as it's overgrown with reeds and bushes, and at this point it gets extremely narrow.
Just coming into Aylesbury now. So this is the first signs of buildings on the side of the canal. And lovely parkland. At the moment it's looking a little bit like Milton Keynes. It's really quite pretty.
Aylesbury is located in central Buckinghamshire, midway between High Wycombe and Milton Keynes. Seems there's been a settlement here for a really long time. Excavations in the town centre in 1985 found an Iron Age hill fort dating from the early 4th century BC. Nowadays it's home to the Royal Dahl Children's Gallery and the Waterside Theatre. The town played a large part in the English Civil War, when it became a stronghold for the parliamentarian forces.
Wait. And more weight. Whoop. Get off now.
Well, we just walked to Pets at Home to buy the dogs dog food, and using Google Maps it's sending us back through this lovely park. So
there are 3 sculptures here in Aylesbury, and this one is I Am Strong. This one is I Am Free, which sadly was subject to a protest when somebody left a portable toilet underneath. One can see why. And finally this one, I Am Strong.
back into the town. Go along this little footpath across the stream. Back up there toward the town. And this way I'm walking back towards the boat. So in a minute I'll come to a bridge and go over the canal and then walk a little way back to AmyJo. That's the canal down there. And zoom in and you can see AmyJo up there. We're walking up the steps. There's the canal that side.
Well, there you go, folks. Bit of an animal safari there with all these bird rescues that we got up to. And in the middle of all that, which I forgot to video, Chris threw the windlass ashore because she had a little bit of a jump. And it landed at the end of the handle, and that acted like a spring, and the thing shot in the lock.
It did, yes. Good job, we've got a good seat magnet.
Yeah, first throw, and I managed to get it back up again,
Yeah.
so we're really lucky there. But then Aylesbury's a lovely little town, and you had a good wander around in it,
Well, I
didn't you, as you
wandered
saw?
on my own because it was too hot for smudge anyway. And it's a lovely mixture of old and new. And the day I went on my own, there was a film crew outside the town hall, but I never did find out what they were filming.
Well, it certainly wasn't Chris, anyway.
No, thank goodness.
Yeah. So that's it for that. We've done the Aylesbury arm. We'll then continue back up the arm, but we won't video that because you've already seen it. And then we'll be carrying on down the Grand Union again. So you've got that to look forward to next time. So in the meantime, thanks for watching. Do give us a thumbs up and keep those comments coming if you would, because we really enjoy getting your comments. It's good feedback for us, so we really rely on your comments. Stay safe, look after your families, and we'll see you next time on Life on Board AmyJo. Bye.